Canberra.
Thank you, Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Early Childhood Education. How is the Albanese Labor government delivering cost of living relief for highly feminised sectors, including for early childhood education educators and teachers?
Call to the Minister for Early Childhood Education and the Minister for Youth.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker, and I thank the member for Canberra for her question. At least on this side, we care to ask questions about early childhood education and care and feminised industries, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, Labor came to this government in 2022 with a commitment to drive action to close the gender pay gap. And since then, we've seen the gender pay gap drop to all-time lows. Last week, ABS data showed that the national gender pay gap has fallen to 11.5%. That's down from 14.1% in May 2022. And that's not by accident, Mr Speaker. It didn't fall out of a coconut tree, so to speak. We are closing the gender pay gap by taking deliberate and carefully considered action.
Order.
The action taken by this Albanese Labor government is working across the economy to lift women's pay. Now, in low-paid, highly feminised sectors like early childhood education, where women make up over 90% of the workforce, we've supported 3 wage increases since we came into government. And earlier this month, I'm proud to say that we announced an historic 15% increase for early childhood education and care workers, Mr Speaker. What this increase means is that by the end of this year, 200,000 early childhood education and care workers will get a pay rise of at least $100 a week. And by the end of next year, that'll be at least $150 a week. Because, Mr Speaker, this government believes in giving these critical early childhood education workers, who are highly skilled and highly qualified, the fair and decent wages that they deserve. Now, this $3.6 billion investment towards a wage increase will make a real difference. It will make a real difference towards gender equality, and it will help to ease cost of living pressures, something that we have been focused on this side of the House. Now, Georgie Dent, the CEO of the Parenthood, put it this way. She said that this is momentous for gender equity, as it directly addresses the chronic undervaluing of a highly feminised workforce and bolsters a critical enabler of women's workforce participation. Mr Speaker, this wage increase is good for children, it's good for families, it's good for the economy, and importantly, it's good for women, most of whom are still primary caregivers, because it allows them to make that choice of what works best for them when it comes time to returning to work, to taking on further hours or to returning to study. And it's part of this government's plan for a universal early childhood education and care system, Mr Speaker, a system that works for the economy, that works for children, that works for families and that works for women.